Hi, geeks. Michael here. Welcome to another free preview of Wizards, the podcast guide to comics.
Greetings, geeks, and welcome to another edition of Wizards Half. This is mini episode 114.5. These are the episodes where we get into all the nitty gritty details we didn't have time for on the main episode. And what a main episode it was, talking to Buddy Scalera from the comic book school, former Wizard staffer. Boy, did we get deep into how you write comics, how you create comics, what the industry is like now. We covered a lot of stuff, but we didn't cover a lot of what's in this issue. So Michael Canetti is here to help me do this. Michael, how
Let
you
me ask you
doing?
a question. That episode was 2 hours long.
He was such a font of information,
Well,
and
he
then
is,
he
yes.
wanted information about wizard history from me. He was just
Oh
like,
my goodness.
"You guys know your stuff." So I'm like, "Yeah."
Well,
So
you know your stuff.
so
Let's
Michael,
let's not give everybody too much credit.
hey, fair enough, fair enough. But yeah, so this is going to be fun. I am curious, Michael, just for you, in the world of comics, in the world of just entertainment and excitement. Obviously, our patrons have heard you on Super Cinema all
Mhm.
year. But what has been a highlight for you? Is there something in your comic book fandom that has given you a boost this summer?
I guess it was probably a Fantastic Four, the movie. I thought that was, that. And again, if you haven't heard the Patreon and whatnot, I thought it was better than Superman. I have mixed emotions about Superman, but I thought Fantastic Four was a version of Fantastic Four. They got as close to right as I could think they could in the movies. Beyond that, I still enjoy a lot of buzz and rumors and just hype here and there and all that kind of stuff. So I love perusing all that nonsense.
Yeah, in the absence of Wizard, you got to find it yourself, but there's plenty of it out there. So, but we're going to discover a little bit of the hype and the buzz that was in the pages of issue number 114 here. There was some interesting things going on at Marvel. So, Michael, we got some headlines. You got to cue us up. Go for it.
Do Wizard news.
All right.
I have heard you try to do my little do thing.
In your absence, I try to fill the void, but here's the deal. So, what's the best Marvel comic ever? 40th anniversary celebration to honor 100 greatest Marvel comics. So,
Wow.
this is announcing that in the month of February 2001, all the issues that ship are going to have a ballot where readers can vote for their 5 top Marvel stories ever. You can also vote online at this time. And
Oof.
then this is what's interesting is that they're going to collect these top 25 stories in 4 reprint magazines. So they'll have
Wow.
5 of the stories in each. And so that's just, it's kind of, they're calling them magazines, which I
Mm.
think is pretty fantastic. I would be curious to know how many people sought these out at the time. But remember, 40th anniversary of Marvel Comics in 2001 started in 1961. I'm just curious, in your mind, when we're looking at the 100 best Marvel comics ever, is there a story that you would just jump to that just say, this one's got to be there somewhere?
I mean, I would assume Secret Wars,
Ooh, okay.
obviously.
A maxi series to fill an entire magazine. I wonder, is
Uh,
there one issue of Secret Wars that you would point to? Like, do you
Oh,
remember a moment?
I mean, the black suit Spider-Man moment is it's got to be one of the biggest because it changed Spider-Man for how many years going
Yeah.
forward. That
Yeah.
that's a huge
So
one.
issue 8 of Secret Wars, that's a big one. Okay.
I also think, the Marvels, not necessarily, that I mean, think about how much it was covered in Wizard magazine at the time, just the Marvels. It was like the Alex Ross and the whole thing, and it was so praised and big and stuff like that that I feel like that's got to be on the list too.
That's a big one. I was trying to think, they go through later in this issue. We'll talk about it briefly, but like the some of the best Fantastic Four stories and the highlights from their history, which was the first Marvel comic. So you
Right.
gotta have some Fantastic Four in there. So obviously like the Galactus trilogy or something like that. Like that's a big one.
Or even, I mean, the funny thing about Fantastic Four is, if you think of comics like a tree and with branches, how many characters and creations branched out of Fantastic Four, like the
Yeah.
Inhumans, Galactus,
Black
S-
Panther.
Black Panther, Silver Surfer. I mean, the list could go on and on and on of how many different, branches fly out of the Fantastic Four, which made it also so challenging for the studios today to make certain movies because the rights were all different places because of their tributaries, if you will.
Yeah, and when you brought up like, the black costume from Secret Wars #8, I was thinking one of the stories that came out of that era was the Craven's Last Hunt
Right.
storyline. But I stopped. I was because this says like, the greatest Marvel comics of all time. And I always wonder, was that popular because it was so different than a standard Marvel comic? Does it really represent Spider-Man? Like it's a dark story. It's got some themes in it where you're like, oh, and the ending is really shocking. But I always wonder, like, what are people's criteria? So we would love to hear from you geeks out there. What are the 5 stories that you would have voted on? We'll post this to social media. You guys could tell us what should have been there up to 2001 in the history of Marvel Comics. Like, I wonder how many people would have put like Heroes Reborn stuff, like if they were really big fans of that, or
Maximum Carnage,
yeah, like the big moments of the '90s, like things like that. Ben Riley becoming Spider-Man,
yeah.
like that's the
I
whole
mean, for
quote
you,
stuff.
it'd have to be, Spider-Man 2099 has to be on that list.
That would be big for me. The launch of the 2009 universe, that'd be cool. So yeah, there's so many options based on. We're gonna have to look it up. We're gonna have to find it one of these days. I did now go back to the
Flawless.
other one here. I know you love a tangent, Michael, and this is something that I feel like you must remember. This is a sidebar called Cold Chillin'.
Okay, let's
You
see.
remember when street magician, stunt, however you want to call it, David Blaine sealed himself in a block of ice in Times Square?
So I don't remember the block of ice. I remember him like being in a fishbowl in Lincoln Center, and he does all kinds of dumb stuff in New York City. And
Yeah.
yes, I'm sure at the time I do remember this, block of ice thing because I was in college and it was of that time.
Yeah, this was an ABC network special where they showed this happen. I remember it. I remember tuning in, like, who's this nutball? And then years later, when I lived in Page, Arizona, when we first started the podcast, one day I went out to my front yard and I'm
And
looking
David
up.
Blaine was there.
David Blade was in the air. There was somebody with a bunch of giant balloons sitting in a chair flying.
Oh, I remember that one.
Yeah,
Yes, I
you
remember.
remember that if this was just a couple of years ago, and I was
Yeah.
just like, who is this maniac? And then I look it up and they're like, it's David Blaine flying out over the Arizona desert doing this stunt to do like the highest free fall or something weird like that. And I was just like,
Who
anyway,
gives this guy money to do these dumb things? I
exactly.
don't understand it.
But
Is that doing magic?
I know these are just like crazy ideas. Again, so he was in a block of ice for about 62 hours. That was his stunt. And so what they're doing is they're comparing Captain America to David Blaine
Oh
because
God.
Captain America was also frozen in a block of ice. So let's go back and forth. Do you want to be on the Cap side or the David Blaine side?
I'm gonna go with the David Blaine side. I gotta just see how dumb this is gonna
Okay.
sound.
So Captain America was on ice for 20 years. So then you
Oh,
read the next one.
so David Blaine was on ice for 62 hours, give or take.
Yeah, so I mean that's not a short amount of time. First words after thawing, Cap said, "Bucky, Bucky."
Did he really though? Is it true?
Yeah, because like he froze in the Arctic waters right after Bucky exploded. So
Okay.
yeah,
I forgot about that. David Blaine said, "Oi, oi."
I think that's Al.
Is that how you
He's
spell
not, he's
ow
not
though?
he's not he's not Australian. Oi, oi.
I don't know if it's oi, oi, or but it's spelled O-W-O. Is that ow? I don't know.
Yeah. So now, when Cap was thawed, or I guess before he was thawed, he was worshipped by chanting Eskimos.
Interesting. That wouldn't track today, but hey, sure,
Yeah.
worked then. David Blaine was worshipped by chanting New Yorkers, which I don't know if they were worshiping him or razzing him,
That's what
probably.
I was just going to say. I think he was getting a lot of attitude from the passersby. Now, Cap was set free by spandex clad guys with names like Giant Man and Iron Man.
And David Blaine was set free by a guy with a chainsaw.
That's how you get it out.
There
That's
you
how you
go.
get people to remember you. Now, Cap was frozen by a Nazi with a ski mask glued to his head. Baron Zemo.
And David Blaine was frozen by union workers carrying blocks o' ice.
Blocks of ice. Now, who would Cap like to ice? The Red Skull.
Who would David Blaine like to ice? David Copperfield, which I do remember that David Copperfield like making the Statue of Liberty disappear.
That
I do
was
remember
huge.
that.
Yeah. And finally, why he's chilling? Well, Cap was trying to escape from a bomb.
David Blaine was chilling to show he was the bomb.
I'm surprised they didn't do da bomb,
Yeah,
which was the way they always wrote it in the past. But
for
there you
sure.
go. A little tangent there.
That could have been way more offensive and inappropriate than it was, which is good.
Yeah. But so I mean, I would love to see the battle between David Copperfield and David Blaine
Oh,
for
that'd be great.
magical dominance. But we got another battle to get to here, Michael, in our last man standing.
Okay. Last man standing. And this last man standing is year one Batman versus Yellow Daredevil, or Daredevil Yellow, they're calling it.
Yeah, basically because the Jeff Loeb Tim Sales story of year
Mm,
one,
yeah.
Yellow and Maroon Daredevil had just come out. So I'll read our tale of the tape here real quick.
Hmm.
So Batman is 6'2, Daredevil's 6 foot. Batman's 210 pounds, Daredevil's 200 pounds. Batman's got a 74-inch reach and Daredevil 72-inch reach. So already Batman's got the physical advantage.
Yes.
Weapon of choice for Batman is a batarang. For Daredevil, it's his billy club. And who they banged. Okay, well, it was
Mm.
Wizard in 2001. Batman, his arch nemesis' daughter. So, yes, Talia. And in this case, for Daredevil, Karen was there
An
some
adult
stuff.
star.
She was a porn star for a brief moment. Sold all his secrets. Anyway, so this is interesting though. So in the early part of their careers, I like this twist. Because
Hmm.
normally it's just kind of like the most recognizable version of the characters.
Yeah,
And in this case, we got a little something different. So why don't you read the first half of the battle here, Michael, and then I'll pick up.
sure. So am I reading the blinded when
You can just
radioactive?
start with the battle.
Okay, the battle. Staking out the rooftops of Hell's Kitchen, the Batman spots the vibrantly garbed acrobat and attempts to surprise him with a batarang toss. Picking up the object with his radar sense, the man without fear easily avoids the projectile and swings into action, going toe to toe with Batman. Got the edge. Batman's got the edge on fighting skills, but Daredevil's acrobatics and toughness even things out, allowing him to dodge most of Batman's martial arts strikes. The Dark Knight retreats to the shadows to spring another attack, a tactic that works well against common street thugs, but Daredevil, or DD as they wrote here, using his heightened senses, smells Batman's sweat and hears his heartbeat and his respiration to pinpoint his location perfectly. One well-placed billy club toss leaves Batman laid out and DD swinging on his merry way. One consolation for the fledgling detective, he's learned from his mistakes. And after a few years seasoning as in Gotham City, Batman knows the outcome of another fight with Daredevil will be much, much different.
Wow. So they gave it to Daredevil.
See, I could see that because even if Batman threw a batarang, he could feel the wind, he could hear it coming, you know.
Batman's
I
not enhanced. Yeah, he
right,
doesn't have superpowers, but
right.
Daredevil does. That is true. That is the true advantage. Plus,
Yeah.
he's inexperienced. Even they're both new to the game, but Daredevil has, yeah, an actual ability that is beyond Batman. But I do like that they say here, now Batman has learned, and next time he'll be ready, of course,
Yeah.
right? The art here is drawn by Steve Lieber, who I don't know if I know Steve Lieber, unless is he, because I was trying to think it's Larry Lieber is Stan Lee's brother.
Right.
He did like the Spider-Man comic strip and stuff and other things like took over for Stan. But anyway, okay. But I do like the art in this. I think it
I do
looks
too.
really, yeah.
I actually like the Daredevil art better than the Batman art, I think. The way
Ooh,
he's
it does have a nice shadow to it, doesn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, he looks intimidating. All right, Michael, you brought up the Fantastic Four movie earlier. We have first
Hmm.
steps in theaters this summer. We had a lot of fun talking about it on Super Cinema, but Wizard was really hot on Carlos Pacheco drawing Fantastic Four at this time. And Jeff Loeb was writing for him. Basically,
Hmm.
like they were plotting together, and then Jeff Loeb would just do the dialogue. He was a
Right.
scripter. So they give a lot of reasons why they feel that people should be reading Fantastic Four. I will say the number one that's been brought up is not number one on the list, but number six here is the new costumes. And our,
Hmm.
our previous guest was really high on this. It said, unstable molecules or not, Pacheco's given the Fantastic Four some spiffy new duds. Okay, they're more like retro costumes, blue
Hmm.
with black trim, similar to the first FF suits, but they're still styling and functional. Each costume bears a metallic 4 symbol. When the symbol's depressed, the costumes revert to street clothing. Quote, what I've been trying to do has been to preserve Kirby's original design, Pacheco offers, with a little high tech touch. So I want to know for you, Michael, do you like that? Do you like that idea of like an actual transformation? Or do you prefer that they just put them on when they're ready to go into battle and they have unstable molecules that react to their bodies and powers?
I kind of like that you press a button and it appears because they even sort of do that in the first Spider-Man Tom Holland movie where he puts on the suit and he taps the spider and it like I dig that. I get it. It makes sense that it's kind of always with them as opposed to, oh, there's chaos happening. Let's go quick change, guys. And
Yeah, and the cover of the issue is actually seeing that kind of in motion, like this
yes, they're like
sparkle
tapping their
effect.
chest. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of neat. Yeah, it is. I'm a sucker for a transformation sequence in anything. So
You like them running into the phone booth and spinning around kind of thing.
all of it, like it's always awesome because it's one more part of the process that you can anticipate and look forward to. So I think that's pretty neat. Let me ask you this: what's next for Michael Canetti? What's going on in your world right now?
Man, so much. So I know I've been, more or less on a extended hiatus anyway for quite some time, and Mike Schwartz has been sort of, being your Andy Cohen to your Conan, but unfortunately, I'm going to be probably taking even more, I don't want to say farewell. Because I really love doing this stuff with you and I really love all this thing. But right now I'm teaching 4 classes. I am producing a lot of content for people and doing a lot of different side projects and things and working on things in the background that the time to devote even, an hour or two is challenging and it's going to be kind of sparring at least through the end of the year. Also, our schedules have sort of shifted a lot because like most people now I'm almost fully back in person now. So that's a bit of a challenge. My commute from the city is tough. But one of the things I do enjoy doing lately, and if you've noticed on our YouTube channel, I've been posting previews of both the actual episodes and our Patreon exclusive stuff. I am going to continue to do that stuff. I really enjoy that behind the scenes stuff of giving you guys a sampling of our full episodes so you can go check them out wherever you listen because that's something that I can help the podcast and help us grow as well. I really care about the show and the fans and growing the platform for everybody. So if I can use my skills as a video editor to give you guys some snippets and tastes of what's going on, I want to continue doing that and at least have that be my contribution to the show. And I still am on the Instagram. I still see the emails. I'm very much a part. I'm on the Facebook group, and I will
Mhm.
be doing all that kind of behind the scenes stuff a lot. Hopefully to give a little bit of relief for Adam, and also be sort of the silent producer, if you will. So
Yeah, I mean, Michael's influence has been felt and will continue to be felt on the show. It's just not on the mic
talking
as
about me
often for the.
dying now. My influence, yes. But
So
yeah,
the
no.
mics are dropping off the mics.
Yeah,
But as
it's
we teased in our mini episode for issue 113, we do have another co-host who is lined up and ready to roll and to bring a new flavor to Wizards in a very fun way. So that announcement will be coming soon. So just stay tuned for that. This is something we've discussed and a choice that's been made.
But I will point this out, and I think this is kind of interesting to touch on, right? So I first discovered you through Sequel Quest, and you know was listening to the show religiously with you and your buddies, and then was a guest on it twice. And who would have thought those tiny little interactions would have sparked in what was it? October of 19. You said, you want to do a podcast together on Wizard Magazine? And I'm like, yeah, sure, what the hell? And, fast forward now, we're almost 10 years into this thing. We're 8 years into this podcast, and not even halfway there, folks.
We got a long ways to go, that
Yeah.
is for sure.
But,
But no, but it's been a fun journey so far, and that's what I love. I love the evolution of the podcast and the different energies that we've been able to bring into the different personalities over the years. We had Steven for a year.
yeah,
We've had Mike for a year and a half now, and now we get one more member of the crew. So the legacy of the podcast continues to grow. And like we say, I mean, this isn't the last you're hearing of Michael Canetti. It's just, you're gonna, when you watch every video, just feel Michael's touch there, his
yes.
little
Yeah,
influence.
all the shorts, all the reels, I post that stuff. And maybe I'll give some little quibs and jibs and jabs here and there.
Yeah,
So stay tuned. You never know what you might see me pop up, because I like to do some funny stuff here and there, and I enjoy a rib every once in a while. But listen,
absolutely.
but folks, listen, this was super fun. I'm glad we did this half episode, and it was just the two of us chatting and sort of having a good time talking about the obscure 2001 comics era. There's, more and more weird stuff to come, folks.
Yeah, definitely. We know a lot of you are big fans of this era, so we're looking forward to hearing from you on social media. So you find us at Wizards Comics on all the socials, at Wizards_comics on Instagram. Of course, find us on YouTube, where you're going to see those clips that Michael is working on. But make sure you're also considering, hey, maybe I should become a patron, become an official geek over at patreon.com/wizards comics. Just $5 a month. Get that PDF scan of the issue. Get yourself an uncut early release episode. How about our Super Cinema podcast,
Mm.
where this month we're talking about an animated DC film, which
Yeah,
is fun. We're getting more into the animation side, so that'll be great. But in the future, you can have a chance to vote on one of the movies if you're a patron. So there's just a lot of fun stuff that comes your way there. So stay tuned, stay connected, and until next time, keep your books bagged and boarded. So, Michael, last thing here before I let you go,
sure.
I was just going to ask. So, I know you said your rule for this year was not buying individual issues anymore,
Mm.
and then you said you broke that for one comic,
For one comic,
and
for
then
Batman Echoes, whatever, number five, number six, whatever the final
you
issue
had to
was. Yeah.
finish it. Yeah.
Yep.
So, but you've managed to resist since then.
Still, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
but are you going to shops just to like be in the atmosphere?
Yes. Oh, yeah. I peruse, I walk around, I
Yeah,
buy, other things, whether it's
yeah,
collectibles and whatnot here and there. I do sort of still look into like CGC stuff. Like I have that McFarlane over there
yeah.
that I just recently got. And if there's some like really exclusive sort of cool variant covers that are like going to become graded and whatnot, I consider getting them. I don't buy a lot of them. My purchasing this year is focused heavily on filmmaking stuff and audio equipment and stuff like that, because I'm driving home more of that kind of stuff when I teach and work with and so on and so forth. But yeah, the weekly comics where I would drop $40 a week comics, couldn't happen this year. It's getting out of
Yeah.
control.
I mean, I guess I'm just picking up the slack for you
Yeah.
then, because now I'm in every Wednesday shops
And
ones.
I hate to admit, I'm probably have a backlog of comics that I have not read that could last me the rest of my
I
life.
think so. But that's what I realized. That had to be the reason you
Yeah.
dropped. It's like I've already bought so many I've never read. I can't keep buying all this
Yeah.
stuff. But I will say, just Patreon, just so you know, our new co-host, who I've already been talking to him about things that we might add to the podcast. He is also somebody who goes to the shops every Wednesday. And so he's up on the current stuff. So we may have kind of a what are we reading feature on the mini episodes, so we can like go back to what Mike and I were doing with the Wednesday, flashback, where we were looking at what we missed, or Wednesday
I
rewind, I guess.
I need to point this out to the Patreon folks.
Yeah.
When we went into this thing, Adam admittedly would say repeatedly, after probably 99, 2000-ish, he has no comics knowledge going forward from like the 2005s forward.
Yeah, it was
And
like Civil War, and that was it. I jumped back in briefly. Yeah.
yeah, now listen to him, folks. He's going to the shops weekly to buy comics again.
It's crazy. And there's great stuff. I got to tell you, the one I just want to push for everybody, is Daredevil Cold Day in Hell by
Oh
Steve
yeah, I've seen the
Niven.
covers. It looks cool.
It's, I mean, it's 100% just like, I must have a thing because I like Spider-Man Reign with old
Hmm.
man Spider-Man,
Yeah,
and that was just a rip-off of Dark Knight Returns. So
yeah.
this is just, but this one is really good. Like I bought the first issue just to be like, let me just test it, and now I want to go back and buy the other two because I'm just
There
like,
you go.
this is excellent, just storytelling,
That's
just so,
cool.
and it's such a like talking about Civil War. Steve McNiven, such like polished, like
Yeah.
perfect looking stuff. This is all like craggy and like
Because this is the,
weird.
the
Like,
this is the bearded Daredevil like stuff, right? Does
no,
he have
yeah,
like a?
but he's not even bearded. He's just old and like weird.
Oh,
Yeah, like
really?
he's just like,
Interesting.
and his costume has like stitches all over it, like it's been repaired from all the battles over the years. So anyway, but it's just a really good mystery, good setup, and good return to him taking the mantle again and stuff. So
Nice.
recommend it if you guys are
That's
looking
cool.
for something cool because most
Maybe I'll
Marvel
wait till
stuff I don't like.
26 and buy the trade when it comes out.
Of course, that's what everybody's going to do. All right. Well, we'll let you go, but
All
I'll
right,
talk to
bud.
you
Go
later.
get some sleep now.
Yeah, my turn to sleep.
Goodbye. Thanks for checking out this free preview. You want to see this and more and the uncut version of all of our episodes? Go to our Wizards Patreon, which is patreon.com/wizardscomics. As well as you can follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, or X, or whatever they call it now. Like and subscribe. Stay tuned for more. See you next time.